Got a call. Never did.
Call me. I'd love to hear your side of the story. It's not that we want to put you out of business. We just want to know why 4 new houses had to be destroyed. I don't get that.
And was this because of uncleaned sumps that hadn't been cleaned up, or where did this contamination come from?
There's the monitoring device you were looking at.
Yeah, that's the air sampler.
And that's how close we are to the 101. I mean,
you've seen it every day. If you're heading south, if you commute to Santa Barbara.
And you look over, you see this going on. I remember seeing the bulldozers crush the houses down, and I'm like, what is going on? See, this is, and that street right there is actually South Bradley, although it doesn't go all the way through. It dead ends down a little ways there. But there you are, Walter, talking to the on-site guy there.
Yeah, flagman there, and a project engineer will come up, Chris. I spoke with Chris and gave him my card, and he said he'd let his manager know, and the fellow, very responsive, would give me a call, and the ConocoPhillips guy would give me a call as well, but they never got a call.
Well, I wish they would call. I wish they would call the studio or call me directly. And here I'm using my telescopic drone mechanism to look over where they don't want you to see what they're doing. And you can see there's still a tree that used to be in somebody's front yard is still there. And well, you can see they've banked it. They've done everything they can to control the contamination, I think. And here's the neighbor. Now this is looking from my back to the freeway, and there's you can see the wind guard there on the left, top left of your screen, and right on the other side, here's this guy trying to water some plants or something. I mean, he's downwind. He's like right in the area if there's any poisonous fumes coming out, and this is right by the freeway. And you see this, people, if you're driving south, once you get past Betaravia, headed south, look to your right, you're going to see this project going on. Here's another view looking in from the corner. And you'll see he's got a fire extinguisher there on the ground on the lower left corner. And I'm trying to wonder, with all that sand, what do you have to put a fire extinguisher? What would catch on fire? Since they obviously wouldn't have any volatile organic fluids escaping, would they? Why would you need a fire extinguisher, Walter?
Well, I think that's what it's there for.
I'm being facetious. But, and to think people were living there for 15 years.
Yeah.
With no clue that they may be continually exposed to gases. Now, I bet you when they sold their houses, yeah, here I'm giving you another view looking from the far end, closest to the freeway, looking back where 4 houses used to be. Okay, what do you got, Walter? Let's run through these because we're running out of time here.
Shellfield Stories. Shellfield Stories is a compilation of personal and collected testimonies of people throughout the United States, mostly back east, Pennsylvania, Texas. And these folks, as you can see from the ad, they're country folks. They're out there in the hinterlands, and all of a sudden these oil rigs show up. Their neighbors cut a deal with the oil company, and now they have to breathe the foul air. Their wells get contaminated, nasty yellow water. Some of them have been able to set their tap water on fire. I'm sure some of you have seen that on YouTube videos. But the point of the matter is that when you live downwind, when you live around these oil rigs, when you live around oil and gas development, you have a higher than typical chance of contracting cancer, lymphoma, liver cancer. And the unfortunate part about it is you probably won't know until it's too late.
That's usually the way it is. You don't find out until it's really too late. What's the next picture you want to bring up?
Well, the next picture is the Wheatleys.
Oh yeah, we saw that in the video, but let's see it again.
Yeah, and that's a still of the sign of the Wheatley number 5,
And this is the one we were talking on the video where they had a leak. They had an emergency.
yes, they had a leak. It was emanating
Gas right to those people in the mobile home park next door.
and the tank battery there is directly upwind, less than I would say less than 30 feet away. 30, 40 feet away from these trailers. Now, imagine,
Well, from the first trailer. But
from the first trailer.
Yeah,
There are
closest.
trailers. There are trailers. Not only are there trailers immediately adjacent to it, but you know, I've had friends.
there's
who
low-income people with children living in those trailers.
Right, and they're befuddled. What do? We complain, and nothing ever gets done because
And their city council doesn't care, Walter.
no, they don't care.
Because Patina lives or Alice Patina lives way up on the north end in a nice little house far from these wells.
Well, actually, Mayor Patino pointed out in her response to a MoveOn.org petition that was circulated by a colleague of mine named Amy Anderson, that that she said that, well, there are no wells in open spaces in Santa Maria, and yet we just showed you pictures of them.
We just
The
showed
one
them
out
to
there
you.
in the field, the one behind the mobile home park, all by itself. So-
That was just yesterday, people. This is not ancient footage.
No, this is happening as we speak, and the city council members, they don't want to talk about this. You can try and pin them down, and by golly, they just take right off. Now,
Does that look like 200 feet from that oil derrick to those apartment houses?
Oh no.
I'd say that's like 100 feet or less.
Probably 100, no more than 125 feet.
Well, the garages are even less than that. The garages are even closer, and there's kids play around those garages.
Sure,
They play in that street like 40 feet from that oil derrick. Kids are playing in that street that doesn't get used much.
And anytime that that tank battery signals it's full of water, come take the water off the battery, that's when they show up. Day or night, they show up. Here's a picture of the tank battery, and that tank battery services 2 wells, the one in the open space and the one that you saw on the other side of the wall, which is in the storage facility, off-Broadway storage facility. This is the off-Broadway wheat lease.
Yeah, right behind Pep Boys. You can find it.
Yeah.
We found it. Wasn't that hard?
No, you just go there, and that's how I found it. I was driving down Broadway and followed my nose.
I mean, when you can follow your nose to the source, then it's pretty bad. And when you smell that rotten, really rotten,
Rotten egg smell,
rotten egg smell,
hydrogen sulfide.
yeah, hydrogenized sulfide. Yep.
Yeah,
it's bad.
and they
Hope
told
you,
me.
hope you get this and read it.
Yeah. They're
You can get this if you call 412-461-5650. Again, 412, that's area code 412-461-5650. Read the stories of what happened to people that didn't stop this in time.
Steel Valley printers, and what they have done, Steel Valley, is they are putting together compilations. This is just the first edition of all the people who have been injured. You know, you've heard so-called the oil companies say anecdotal stories about people who may have smelled something or may have been injured, but these are people who had their animals die, people who have contracted lymphoma, people who have contracted respiratory ailments, asthma, bronchitis, constant sore throats. One fellow was here not too long ago, Calvin Tillman, the mayor of Dish, Texas, and he let the folks at the library know a couple of months ago that if you don't stop them before they move in, once they move in, there's no getting them out. It's a done deal. They have enough lawyers to bury you. So if you allow them in, it's a done deal. Who do you trust? It's like the Measure P people. These people are financed. That's why you haven't seen Measure P information. The Measure P information, the Measure P proponents don't have them. They're doing this out of their pockets. I print their flyers in Santa Maria on my laser printer, which I bought specifically to make flyers for this effort, because actually, when you think about it, running paperwork and buying shale fill stories, booklets, 100 for $378, that's cheaper than hiring an attorney. Because ultimately, if we don't keep them out of Santa Maria, and whether or not Measure P passes, they will be here. So Measure P is, voting yes on Measure P is the first step to keeping Santa Maria safe and keeping fracking out of Santa Maria.
I hope we're giving you on second thoughts. Because if you wait till you have your third and fourth thought, it may be in the emergency ward of the hospital while you're gasping on your last breath, or going in for your surgery to remove a cancerous tumor that you don't survive.
Or you get a blood test and they say, oh, something's wrong here. Something's terribly wrong. We think you might have lymphoma.
Yeah, you can get this thing again at 412-461-5650, and I didn't print it. I didn't write any of the stories.
No, I didn't either.
But somebody who was very concerned, who had their community destroyed. And you know what's really sad about this is oil is ancient technology. It's already antique and antiquated. Tesla is building a car. Right now you can buy them if you've got $70,000.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
And you can buy this car, needs no oil, has no combustion engine. Just has really high-tech batteries like you've never seen. And it'll go almost from here to LA and back, 200 some miles on one charge that you can recharge, and they have free recharging stations. And one of Tesla's free recharging stations is in Buellton in Santa Barbara County, 30 miles from here. So we got about 10 minutes to finish up here. Walter, what's your next thing? We got to get through this.
Well, one thing is item 8. As you can see, down at the bottom of the photograph here is the tank battery offload port. There's a couple of handles there. There's a pan underneath the port
To catch drippings.
to catch drippings. I've seen that area completely covered in oil as the tanker is offloading that. Sometimes they don't have it tight. Sometimes things leak. So ultimately, this is where they take the water off and truck it away. Where they take it, gee, who knows?
But if they were to start putting infusing hot slurry in there to get more oil out of what was abandoned wells.
Steam injecting it?
Yeah, if they start doing steam injection, all those hundreds of capped, which weren't really capped with concrete, they weren't like a valve, shut-off valve put on the pipe to cap it off. They just dumped dirt.
Well,
they didn't care.
On some of them they did.
Well, some of them they did,
but
most
which
of them
ones?
did. Yeah, which ones?
Which ones? It's Russian roulette. We've got thousands of them.
At least hundreds of them.
And
they're not capped well. So when they put that steam down, they're going to start forcing all that gas up,
Yeah.
Walter. It could be coming up in your garden while you're gardening, and you're going to be getting gassed.
in your street,
In your street.
in your backyard,
Even if you're in Orcutt.
in your front yard.
Even if you're out there by Blosser. This
I know-
could be happening
I
to
know
you.
a lady that lives over by Rotary Centennial Park, out near this Sunrise and Starlight, and she's got an oil well in her front yard.
In her front
In her
yard?
front yard. So
Do we have a photo of that yet?
No, we don't.
We should get one.
Well, what I would like to also
Okay,
point
let's
out
get
is
to
that
the memorandum.
what I'd also like to point out is I've been a burr under their saddle for quite some time.
She wrote Rick at the city manager here at
I
Santa
wrote
Maria.
Rick, a year after Area 9, the Area 9 ordinances passed.
Close up of this memorandum. Call me. I'd love to hear your side of the story. Call me. I'd love to hear your side of the story. Call me. I'd love to hear your side of the story. Call me. I'd love to hear your side of the story.